It's Dino's Deep Dank Dark Web, the Avengers Endgame edition.
Are we getting the little in back of us right now?
We should, because
right?
Yeah, because I mean this is important. We are going to have spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
we are?
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Yeah. So if you don't want to know what's going on in Avengers Endgame,
nice.
You need to turn off this video right now.
I was hating it because I was like, I think I got to not have spoilers here.
Oh, okay. First spoiler for me, I did not pee my pants for the entire 3 hours.
Nor did I. I never had the urge to go at all. So I was good, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to know when to go to the bathroom, there is a article online. The first one is like about 30 minutes in. They're about every 30 minutes.
Right. There's key points that they tell you, like when this city flashes on scene.
Right.
When this thing flashes on scene, when the Hulk is eating lunch. But here's the thing. If you follow that and everybody follows that, you all get up at the same time and head as one collective group going to the bathroom because it's the scene where the Hulk's eating lunch and you're like, okay, let's all go. And then it defeats the purpose because you all clog up the restroom and take forever.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're waiting in line.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe we need to like break it down into groups, like your group A, your group B.
Right. If you need to go during group B, otherwise, don't do it.
Yes. So I think that's probably a key point, but I found for me, I don't know, maybe it was just my evacuating my bowels prior to going to the movies.
Just be responsible basically, and know that you're going to be, in a movie for 3 hours plus, and do your business.
And I even went with the supersized EGs, or supersized icy.
Right.
So I thought for sure I'd probably want a bathroom break at some point.
Nope.
But yeah, it holds you long enough where you don't feel, and also the movie doesn't feel like 3 hours.
It didn't feel like 3 hours.
It definitely feels long, but it's not egregious.
Right. Yeah. I've watched other movies that were long. Not 3 hours, that felt like 3 hours, and you're like, wow, that's only 90 minutes?
Right,
or whatever.
2 hours and a half or whatever.
Yeah, and but no, it did not feel like 3 hours at all, so don't worry if you're going, oh my God, how am I going to sit through this movie? You can totally do it.
What did you think overall? Grade 1 to 10, thumbs up, whatever, however you want to go with it.
I'm going to put all my thumbs up. I'm going to give it all the stars. I'm going to put a couple of toes up.
Wow.
All that. Yeah, no, it was fantastic, I thought. But overall, yes, I love the movie because they take it seriously, because they did a lot of in-depth characters work, and it's a different tone than the last movie.
Right.
Very somber. Because
I did notice that.
After you go through what you went through in the last movie,
Infinity War,
you can't come out and just start fighting and doing your superhero stuff and boom, boom, boom.
There's going to be a turnaround. They have to reset a little bit.
Exactly. So that's exactly what they're doing. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay. So while I liked it, I'm going to be a little contrarian here.
That's okay.
I did not love it as much as I thought I would. And I am a person, unlike you, you went for every spoiler. You kind of knew what the movie was going.
I knew exactly what was happening, yeah.
I knew nothing except for people walking in slow motion in some quick TV trailers. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I went in, I wanted to be as cold as possible. I wanted it just to kind of wash over me.
Right.
And with the somber tone, now I kind of expected that because knowing what would happen in the last movie, I was like, okay, well, it's not going to, not going to be starting off with a bang. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. We're going to have to reset because so much happened at the end of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the beginning was, while it was somber, it was a little slow, but that was the slowest part as far as the build-up, and I understand why they do it too. I'm not saying it's not necessarily a critique. I understand why it was important to the story.
Yes.
But overall, like if I had to gauge it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 7 for me.
Okay.
And I
don't give it a 10 really. Realistically, I'd probably give it a 9.
Right.
And that is only because of some of the things that didn't quite make sense in the movie.
Sure. Okay.
There was,
we'll talk about
there's
that,
a few of those kind of things, but that's why. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, I like that the Hulk was the smart Hulk.
Right.
I like that because...
And they fused it with like him being the Hulk and being Mark Ruffalo at the same time, which we really haven't seen before.
So the smart Hulk is part of the comics lore, so he's in there like that. But see, with all that stuff, it came like years and years and years down the road they have to move a little quicker with this.
Sure.
So it was cool to see them get into that already and do that. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Okay, and for me, the best thing out of the whole movie is the Thor plot line. I loved it.
That was another one that I liked. I did like it.
Okay, spoiler alert. He is a big fat fuck in this movie.
Basically, the Big Lebowski is kind of how they refer to him.
Right.
Right.
I thought it was great. I thought, the fact that he really kind of played into the fact that he's just kind of like this, off the wagon alcoholic that just kind of can't get his life together.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to, kind of doing everything he can to kind of get back with the group and just at least hold it together for a little bit.
If you can sort of picture Big Lebowski is a good way to put it, but
because he's in the bathroom.
If you can exactly. But if you can picture just an old surfer stoner guy that is just on his the last part of his years, kind of that sort of attitude. That feel. That's kind of what he is.
Yeah. So I thought everything with the Thor plot line was great. I thought the comedy was, that was the fun. Those were the funniest parts. Those were the sharpest parts. It all made sense. Those were the consistent laughs.
He appreciated that he didn't have to work out every second, looking all toned up like he did in the last couple of movies. But,
right. And I thought the emotional thing with him too. Here's another spoiler alert. He kills Thanos, but Thanos comes back.
Right.
Because it's kind of, and then we'll get into that part too here. But there was that, and then he was kind of living with that heaviness of the people that he lost, and then kind of ending it with, and then realizing, at least for that time being, that this was the life that they were going to have.
But
now.
I think everybody that was still alive was living with that heaviness. I mean,
and that was the somber tone.
Tony Stark was living with that.
Right.
With Spider-Man. Hawkeye was living with that, which, he turned into Ronin,
right.
And they found him in Japan fighting. And, every character had that element to them, and that was why they really had to build up to where they were going. And like you said, created the somber mood.
Okay. So one of my pet peeves with the plot, but they knew it was going to be a pet peeve too, because they kind of made fun of it, was the time travel aspect.
Right.
Because you knew the spoilers, did you find it annoying? What did you think about that?
Well, no. In fact, I liked that they were, because to me, it was a way to tie everything back in from everything else, going back and going to those scenes. It was and they referred to it in the movie Back to the Future.
Right.
It was very much that Michael J. Fox going back, back in time, and then seeing himself at the dance,
right.
Playing guitar or whatever. So when they go back and they see themselves in those other things, to me, it was tying the last 10, 11 years up,
right.
And all that. And I didn't find it annoying. I thought it was really cool.
I had a little bit of a problem with it. It was a convention that I thought was too easy, but I kind of see why they had to do it in the context of the whole story. Again, we're dealing with so many characters. We're dealing with so many movies.
But was it easy? Because they did just go back in time and boom, everything's,
right.
They had to really work for it, even though they went back in time. They couldn't just fix it. Boom, 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 it's fixed. Let's go back.
Right. There were of course there were obstacles, and that part of it was good. So, but I'm saying, as far as just the actual convention of it, I remember when they started doing it, I was like, this is kind of, like I said, this is kind of easy. I want to see where they're going to go with this. And like I said, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but like I said, to me, it was just like, oh, well, this is kind of an easy convention. They did an okay job with it.
Well, they have the time stone, so
right.
I mean, it's
right.
What else are you going to do when you got that power?
Right.
You got to go back. So.
Okay. So the time travel thing, like I said, that was kind of a little bit of a crutch for me, but you didn't seem to mind it as much.
Not at all.
But with that being said, when they did that time travel piece, there was an interesting portion where Loki kind of comes back into the mix here.
Right, because he died early in the last movie.
Yeah, that was
right.
that was Tesseract, that little square, right?
Yep.
So he was able to grab it and disappear out of that particular time period.
So
and then they had to reassess.
There's a big question going around now.
Right.
Is he now living that Loki now in that time period?
Right. Now I heard that they're thinking about doing a Loki type Marvel.
Yeah, the Disney Plus
right.
service is doing something like that. So is that how they explain it, or do they tell other stories from when he was alive previously? We don't know.
Right.
We'll find out, though.
Okay. And then here's a part that did confuse me a little bit. Gamora.
Right, and that's another one because now, they went back to, 2014?
Mm-hmm.
And so they go back and they find her before her and Quill really became a thing.
Right.
And so when she, when they meet up together, he's still got that feelings of their connection, but they hadn't done it yet. So she is very standoffish towards him.
Sure.
So now the same question, is she now as that Gamora in that new time period where they're going to be able to, reestablish her character in that group, or
that's another thing that confused me. Here's another spoiler. So at the end of the movie, Thor joins the Guardians of the Galaxy to go
as Guardians of the Galaxy,
which was I thought was very funny. Yeah, again, more with that Thor that plot line.
Right.
He was great. So she wasn't on the ship.
No. But that's what I'm saying is, are they going to go find her now because she wasn't really part of that group there?
Right.
So are they going to go find her and kind of try to convince her to join them?
Right, because she was there, but then when everything went down and they snapped the fingers,
right,
and everything got turned back or whatever. But I thought perhaps she wasn't there because she had the same fate as the rest of Black Widow, because she got killed when trying to get that stone.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't find Black Widow, but they found her. So
right.
I think Black Widow's done.
Right.
But I think I don't know, they may be onto something with, I guess we'll find out maybe with the next Guardians movie.
Okay.
What's going to happen there. But that's the speculation, is that she's going to be that time frame character, and they kind of sort of have to reestablish her in the group.
Okay.
So
interesting.
The other thing that was interesting with the time thing, and this isn't going back, this is because they moved forward years.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Parker back in high school, would he have been in college?
Right, because they sent him back to his high school at the end of the
movie. And he
gets
back with his friends. Wouldn't they have all been 5 years later in college?
Right, yeah, they didn't think about that.
So I'm just wondering or are they seniors at that school, and then they're going to move that year to I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of maybe a little bit of a loophole that they
kind of
forgot
so I'm
about.
like, what happened here? So I guess we'll find out with the next movie. And the next movie, really, as much as they tied everything up in this movie with the nice bow, the next Spider-Man movie is really wrapping up the end of that.
Right, and that's coming out a little later this summer, right?
Right, yeah.
July or so. Okay, so let's talk about the big thing then. Iron Man, pretty much the center of this Marvel universe for this run of movies.
Yeah, I mean, he started it, and they definitely finish his storyline.
Oh, they definitely do. Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Spoiler alert, he dies.
He does.
He does. So the light goes out on the little heart thing.
Mm-hmm.
They got, what's her name? Plays his wife.
Pepper.
Pepper, yeah, but what's her name in real life?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow. So she's back in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a daughter now after the end of Infinity War. They all survived, and they had started making a new life. Yep. They had separated themselves from the Avengers, and they kind of lived their own life, and he had become his own thing. But they also start the movie in a different time frame.
Right.
Yeah.
Later on. So there's the question is, and this is a key scene in the movie too, is Pepper or their daughter going to pick up the Iron Man mantle and go into the, and take up that armor? There's a scene where it's all the females get together, and it's awesome because I saw it and I'm like, oh, there's a female. They're all there.
Females, yes.
And it was just like, it was an awesome scene. And I'm like, is that a future movie? Is that a future Marvel movie?
There isn't the A team, or like there is a Marvel thing where it's just all the females, right?
Yeah. There's an Avengers team that
A team
that does it.
But this is different, obviously. Yeah.
It's I think there's different characters in that one, but it certainly sets it up and makes you wonder, like, can they do this? I think they can.
Right.
But will they? I think is the question. You could kind of sense in the theater when was happening, everybody kind of like, whoa. Like,
well, I think, that's a big Disney thing, too.
Right.
You can see it even with the Star Wars movies. There's a lot of that girl power type thing, even with the last Marvel movie, the Captain Marvel, girl power.
That's how you sell to the girls, the marketing.
Right.
You sell the little Barbie dolls and stuff with all the girl superheroes.
Oh, you'll buy the Barbie dolls, too, not just for the girls.
Yeah, spoiler alert, yes.
All right, so the Iron Man thing wraps up, and will his daughter take the mantle? Hard to say. I think the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie is going to be it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, is Thor going to be part of it? I'm hoping that he is, because I think they really established something cool with him and Rocket.
Right.
I think they got something good going there.
Or even him and Star-Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they have something good going with Thor being part of that. So I hope they do. The other thing is Captain America.
Right.
So is
that storyline over?
Is Falcon taking over he got the shield at the end.
Right.
Another spoiler, Captain America is now an old man who has lived his life. They sent him back, and he
put the stones back where they
belong.
And
he comes back, and when he comes back, he's now an old man and has lived his life with Peggy,
right?
And got that dance,
right?
And the whole thing. So then he hands off his shield to Falcon,
right?
And he takes that, and it looks like he might take it and run with it. So
and then maybe Bucky will be his sidekick,
perhaps. But both Bucky and Falcon have both become Captain America at one point in the comics, so maybe they trade off.
Right, that's a long way to go, and that's kind of probably a good thing for Marvel moving forward, that they have a couple of options. Okay?
Yeah, and people like both characters, so they can accept it. It's not like coming in cold and going, now this guy's Captain America. They established him and so on and so forth. And I think it'll be good if they carry on that Captain America with somebody else. I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the hottest searches on Pornhub.com are for Avengers porn.
Well, why not?
Right.
I've seen other ones that they have of the Justice League and Superman, Batman, all those characters and stuff like that. I think they're funny. I think they're hilarious. The acting, of course, still terrible.
Right.
But I just think it's hilarious that they're dressing up as these characters and going for it. I haven't seen an Avengers one. But I'm sure I can find one. Like you said, search for it. So yeah.
So if you had to search for a character on for Avengers porn, who would you go with? Who's your top?
Oh man, it's not Black Widow.
It's not.
It's not Black Widow.
Okay, that's my number one.
I'm trying to think, because it's not Gamora, not Black Widow,
not the Hulk.
It's not. It's not the Hulk.
Not Thor.
No, and I do like blondes, but it's not Thor. And that's why, because I like the blondes. So originally in the comic books, Valkyrie was a blonde.
Okay.
That whole Nordic blonde kind of thing.
Sure.
In the movie, she's not.
Right.
So
she's the opposite of that.
Had she exactly. Had she looked like that, maybe Valkyrie, but I don't know that I would have a particular character as much as I would just go, let me see what the hell the Hulk's packing here.
It's big, it's mean, it's green.
Right, exactly.
All right, so to wrap things up, what would you tell people without giving spoilers, going forward as far as the movie? What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that it's a different tone than the last movie.
Okay.
Very somber. That it doesn't seem like 3 hours, but definitely worth your wait. Definitely worth seeing. And I would say see the other movie before you see it, because people are asking, do I need to see the other movie? Do I need to see all the other movies? I would say at least see the previous movie.
This is an important point. What is the movie that people need to see before they go see this? Obviously, you need to see Infinity War.
I think Infinity War. Right. If you had to see just one movie, it's got to be Infinity War, because it sets up everything for this movie.
Right.
All the stuff is set up in that movie. So you don't necessarily need to know the characters before watching Infinity War, because you'll get a sense once you do that, obviously.
For the most part, like I said, it doesn't feel like 3 hours.
No, not at all.
And I got to give them props for wrapping it all up with so many characters and
what a tough job.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I certainly couldn't have done it.
No.
No,
that's why you chose radio.
Yes.
There's a reason. Among many.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks for watching Dino's Deep Dank Dark Web Avengers Edition.